The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Good afternoon, California. Welcome to another Ask the Experts, where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. About 12 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I had a business and I was going to sell that business. And I was going to even try to save myself more money because I was going to try to sell it myself. And the problem with that was I had people calling my business. Employees were wondering what was going on. A lot of what I call tire kickers. It was the worst experience of my life until a friend of mine said, "You've got to get a business broker." I had no idea what a business broker was, but I finally hired one. And I mean, it didn't happen overnight, but that business broker sold my business and it was so clean. And I just always remember, I wish I'd have done that in the beginning. Well, you've been asking us to bring on a business broker. Now, we can find a business broker, that's easy, but to find a great one, not as easy. We found one of the greatest business brokers in California. The name of the company is Zoom Business Brokers. Let me introduce you to Sarah Barizzi. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Steve-O. How are you doing?
Good. How about that for an opening?
That was great. Yeah,
I mean,
it happens for a lot of people. I know that.
So many people do not know or understand what you do as a business broker. And that's what's so great about a show like this. And they can also hear you, meet you, and call you up, make an appointment, come sit down with you. But first, tell us about your business and about your background.
Of course. Yeah, as you said, a lot of places where I go, they ask what you do, and I say I'm a business broker. I say, what? We have never heard that the business broker exists, so that's not a problem. Yeah. So I am a business broker, and like real estate agents, we are also real estate agents, but we get a lot of extra education in order to be able to evaluate and sell a business. So that's a main difference that we have. Other than that, in California, we have to have the same real estate license, but it's a lot. Yeah, it's not in all of the states, but in the state of California, where everything is harder, the business brokerage is not easy. So first, you need to become a real estate agent, and then you start from there to learn so many more things in order to become a business broker. So, as you said, Zoom Business Brokers, our team has been selling businesses for 25 years. We are all over California. We know the market. We have sold so many businesses, and that's how we come in whenever somebody needs help for selling their business.
I love what you do, Sarah. I think, if more people understood about what you do, and just like I said, I went through this before, and you don't want your employees to really know that you're trying to sell the business, or you could lose them. And also, you don't want your business all over the streets. And also, I tell you what I love about what you do is you kind of do all the background first. So when you bring a potential client, they're not just a tire kicker.
Yes. We talk to at least 100 people until we bring one person to the seller. So it takes a lot of time, effort. And the thing that you said about that confidentiality is the main difference we have. I once heard somebody told me that they had a restaurant and they wanted to sell. They hired the real estate agents and they just did an open house for the restaurant. And what happened was that all of the employees left. There wasn't anything left from the business. The most important thing in selling a business is keep it confidential. And that's not easy to do. But we have learned so many things in order to follow certain, procedures in order to be able to keep that confidential from everybody until this end of the sale.
What areas do you like best? Restaurants, construction?
Each one of our brokers have their own focus. My focus is more on selling manufacturing businesses because, I'm a mechanical engineer. So, and I have done a lot of work in industrial locations. So when I put my foot in a manufacturing facility, it's like it's my home. So I love selling manufacturing businesses, but I'll also sell like wholesale businesses, a lot of service-based businesses, online businesses, something like that. But we have other brokers who like sell restaurants or medical facilities or any type of business. We are a generalist business brokerage firm.
So walk me through, what is the first thing, say a person wants to retain your services, what is the first thing you do?
So the first step always is valuation of the business, because somebody who has a business, it's their main source of income. So the first thing that we need to find out is that if we put the business in the market, what would be the most probable selling price for that business? And we ask the sellers to check with their financial advisors to see if that price worked for them for after the sale. Sometimes people want to move to other states or they get retired. They need to understand if they will have enough money after the sale, after all of the costs and taxes and everything, in order to go to that life that they have planned for after the sale. So that's why we do the valuation, we give them that number, and only if that number works for them, that's when we make sign the agreement and start officially the process of selling the business.
Sarah, it must be so hard because a lot of these businesses, the people, they started them, they're like their little baby. And you tell them what their business is worth. You use real numbers. That's got to be so hard on a lot of people when they find out their business isn't maybe worth as much as they thought it was.
Yes. And let me tell you a story. So one of the things that we see a lot these days, especially in manufacturing facilities, is that after 30 years, 40 years, they buy the real estate, okay, because they make some money, they buy the real estate, but they are sitting in that real estate. Real estate is usually under a separate LLC, and the business is paying rent to that LLC. But, after a lot of time, they don't increase that rent, so they are subsidizing the business from the real estate. And now when the time comes to sell the business, we want to sell the real estate at the same time, but in the market value. So in order to do that, we also need to adjust the rent. We cannot pay a lower rent and still sell the real estate at its market price. And when you adjust it, guess what? all of that income goes down, and now
That's
the
right.
business doesn't work that much because it's not making real money. So that's one of the challenges, because a lot of people just don't think about it. They just don't think that they are subsidizing their business from their real estate, and this is the thing that we see a lot these days.
Yes, I have a friend in Orange County that I wish I'd have known about you back then, but she had an industrial business. It was a scrap metal business. And come to find out, the state wanted to buy a lot of that land to build a new highway coming in. And so there was a lot of negotiations involved because it wasn't just the business. But you do all that.
Yes. A lot of times we just, one of our brokers just closed the deal, and there were so many people involved, including only 7 different lawyers. Just imagine all the lawyers, all the CPA, all the, SBA lenders, all of them together. And the business broker is the person who goes between all of them, and whatever problem is there, business broker is the person who needs to find a solution for. So it's not easy, I have to say.
What are some of the mistakes, some of the common mistakes that business owners make when they're trying to sell their business?
So I have to say the first thing is, a lot of times they wait so long. It's not like that you decide to sell and tomorrow you have sold your business. A lot of times it takes even a year until you find the right buyer and be able to sell the business. And there are a lot of time and effort that you need to put into the process of selling a business. Like after a buyer comes in, they put an offer, they want to do due diligence. Guess what? Who is the person who needs to gather all of those information for due diligence and answer all of those questions? You need to have still that extra energy in order to guide that process. And also, a lot of times it really makes a difference if you are available to help the buyer after they sell. So a lot of times the main problem is that the sellers wait so long that they don't have that enough energy, or they don't have time to help after they sell. And it really, really negatively affect this process of selling, and they cannot sell it at the highest price. We have had like tragedies, I have to say, like during the COVID, somebody reached out to us, and unfortunately the seller passed because of the COVID. And we went there in order to sell the business, but it's like that, we never think that maybe we are not there someday. So we could see all of the notes of the seller, but nobody knew even a password to the email or the website or anything. And, the wife was so sad, crying. She was afraid of all of these people who were coming after their monies. And so she just wanted to get rid of the business, So a business that in normal situation, we could easily sell it more than $1 million. It was in a disaster situation. Somebody came in, put a small money and bought it. So it was really, really sad. I have been an entrepreneur myself, my family, and I know how much hard work you have to put into building that business. So when I see that, oh my God, he couldn't even use the result of that hard work just because he didn't plan, or she didn't plan for the sale, that's really something that makes me really sad. So this is one of the main things. But there are other things also. For example, a lot of business owners have a lot of emotional attachment to their businesses, and also so they can remember all of those hard work. So it has a lot of value and emotion for them. But for the buyers, guess what? It's a money-making machine. There isn't any emotion involved. So the
Right,
first
that's
thing
true.
that they look at it is the financials. Now, if you haven't provided good financials, if you are not showing all of those results into those numbers, then they cannot see the value. So sometimes if a seller is not preparing clear financials and is not ready to show that value, that's where they will lose something in this between.
Do you help them with that though?
We don't get into the details of the works ourselves, but one of the things that a business broker has value for is a large network of professionals that we know and we have worked with, and we can introduce during the process whenever they are needed. For example, if somebody comes to me and they don't have even a P&L, I don't go there to prepare a P&L for them, but I know a lot of great bookkeepers or accountants I can introduce them to, so they can help them prepare those financials. So that's what happens.
So do you think you could help me sell my typewriter repair business?
Yeah, we can take a look at it. We
I don't
have
even
a
know if
saying that
people,
every type of business can be sold if there is an exact correct price for it. So even your typewriter business, if it's making
yes.
money.
And Sarah, I'd tell you one of the things I learned, you got to be patient. It's not going to happen overnight.
No.
And it took me well over a year trying to sell it myself, and I didn't. So I don't know why I expected the broker to sell it any quicker. But the big difference was that when they had somebody, it was usually somebody who was really interested. And I love that because at least I knew I had a chance with them. But I think patience is very important. It doesn't happen overnight. How do you find
And
the right
also
buyer for a business?
have in mind that it's not only about the selling and going out. You want to sell it to somebody who at least has a good chance of success in your business. Not
Oh,
only
yes.
to keep that legacy live, but also because you don't want them to come back with a lot of problems in the future. Because whenever somebody, is not successful in a business they buy, guess what? Who they blame for? They come back and say, oh, the seller didn't sell a correct business to us, or they didn't present it correctly. That's why it's really important, the thing that we do, to document all of these presentation and disclosures, so in the future the seller can refer to them and say that, okay, these were exactly what I disclosed about my business. That's the important step we do. And whenever they are not successful anyway, they come back and blame you. So you need to be able to document all of them to defend yourself in the future. But first priority is to find somebody that doesn't get there,
Yes.
That's really important.
Yeah, that's extremely important. Before I go any further, I want to give everybody your phone number. And if you've got a friend or a relative, they don't just have to live in the Los Angeles area. You can give them Sarah's phone number. Give them your phone number and your website, Sarah.
Sure. My phone number is 949-426-5067. And our website is www.zoombusinessbrokers.com, or they can email me at sara.vaziri@zbbcorp.com. I live in Orange County, California, but I do work, 2 hours all over my residence place. But I like to be able to meet people, especially if there is a manufacturing facility. I would like to go and visit that location.
Yes. So I'm going to ask you a question. Why should I hire you, Sarah? I want to sell my business. Why should I hire you?
Of course. So first of all, I think that one of the values that we have is the wide network of business brokers that we work with, not only in our office that we all work together, but also we work with all of the network of California Association of Business Brokers, which is really important. Whenever we have a new listing on Monday morning, it goes to all of these business brokers. And guess what? All of us are selling businesses full time. So we are constantly talking to the buyers and we know who is looking for what. That's why there is a great chance that we can find a good buyer that matches with your business. That matching is really important. But other than that, for me personally, I think that I have always done everything to the perfect form of doing it. I have 2 masters in mechanical engineering, MBA. So for me, it wasn't just only a 2-hour course to learn about this stuff. I have learned so much and I know a lot of deep knowledge about all of these businesses and also about the process of selling businesses. That's why I could get a CBB, CBI. If you look at them, they are not easy to achieve. You have to prove you have sold businesses successfully. You have passed a lot of different courses. So I think that a lot of those stuff, and also my experience in project management, which is really important because, one of the most important things in selling business is managing the whole project and bringing everything together. So I think all of stuff, help together in order to be able to sell a business successfully.
I'm going to go out and find a business just to let you sell it. You are so impressive. Let's give everybody your phone number one more time.
It's 949-426-5067.
And I want to tell everybody they can go to iHeart and find today's show or your show from last month. You're going to be back again with us next month. And we will be using one of your shows on our TikTok starting next month.
Wow, that's great.
So, it's wonderful. Sarah, thank you so much. You'll be back again with us next month on the Ask the Expert show. Thank you again.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
That Zoom, the name of the company is Zoom Business Brokers. She is so good. Give her a call. I am telling you, it's going to absolutely be worth your while. Don't try to do this yourself. Hey, that's it for us today. We'll be back again with you next week with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.